Now, we need to correct the record here quickly about Tim Walz. Yesterday, we were pretty hard on Tim Walz, the Minnesota governor, and that scandal that's on his watch there in Minnesota. We're going to get to our apology and correcting the record. Unlike the fake news mainstream media, we actually own our mistakes, so we're going to correct the record in a second. But first, this story really has to do about President Trump's health. Now, he was asked about his MRI yesterday. 2 days ago on Air Force One. One of the reporters wanted to know very personal, specific information about what part of his body was scanned in the MRI. And Trump gave a very Trump answer to the question. Take a look. And we'll get to that in like half a minute. But first, a quick word from our friends at Birch Gold. How'd you like some free silver? I'll tell you about it in just a second. But you know that you need to diversify your portfolio right now, right? The rate cuts that are coming from the Fed in 2026, the dollar's going to be worth less. And what happens if the AI bubble bursts? Smart people diversify. Birch Gold's going to help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. And for every purchase of $5,000 or more, you're going to get a free ounce of silver from Birch Gold. Text my name, Larry, to 989898 to claim your eligibility. That's Larry to 989898. Birch Gold, free silver. Do it now. Now, back to the video.
Failing NewsNation. NewsNation is doing lousy, by the way. But if you want to have it released, I'll release it.
Please, can you tell us what they were looking at?
For what, releasing?
No. What part of your body was the MRI looking at?
I have no idea. It was just an MRI. What part of the body? It wasn't the brain because I took a cognitive test and I aced it. I got a perfect mark, which you would be incapable of doing. Goodbye, everybody. You too.
That was obviously the end of the presser as far as Trump was concerned. What part of the body did they scan in the MRI? I love the way, what part of the body? Not my brain. Because I passed cognitive tests, which you wouldn't pass. We're done here. And then look at the look on his face. You know that he went back to Karoline Leavitt and said, they're asking what part of my body got scanned by the MRI. What is wrong with these people? And well, you'll see exactly what Karoline Leavitt did there after President Trump wanted to get some more information about what the media was asking about the MRI. But that brings us to Tim Walz, because yesterday, again, I feel real bad about this. I don't know why. This is our second correction we've had to make today. I guess I was on vacation. I had a little bit of, off my game. Yesterday, we said that when Tim Walz was confronted by the Somali scandal that's happening on his watch, that it appears his administration participated in to make sure that money was funneled to these Somali groups that then funneled money back into his campaigns, back to his party, and then sent the rest of it to terrorist organizations back in Somalia. We said that he didn't have a coherent response. We said that he didn't have any kind of proper explanation. But I was wrong. I missed this clip, so I want to play it for you now. He had a very, very clear response to the fraudulent behavior scandal that's enveloping his governorship right now in Minnesota. Here was his response.
Governor, let me have you weigh in on this, because part of your initial response to President Trump's post was to call for him to release the results of his MRI. And I want to give you a chance to give our viewers exactly a sense of what you mean. What exactly were you suggesting by that, Governor?
Well, here we got a guy on Thanksgiving where we spent time with our families, we ate, we played Yahtzee, we cheered for football or whatever. This guy is apparently in a room ranting about everything else. This is not normal behavior. It is not healthy. And presidents throughout time have released a couple things. They've released their tax returns, not Donald Trump, and they've released their medical records, not Donald Trump. And look, the MRI is one thing, but I think what's most concerning about this is, as your viewers out there are listening, has anyone in the history of the world ever have an MRI assigned to them and have no idea what it was for, as he says? So look, it's clear the president's fading physically. I think the mental capacity, again, ranting, crazily at midnight on Thanksgiving about everything else, there's reasons for us to be concerned. This is a guy that randomly says the airspace over Venezuela is closed. He's ruminating on if you could win a nuclear war. Look, this is a serious position. It's the most powerful position in the world. And we have someone at midnight throwing around slurs that demonize our children. And at the same time, he's not solving any of the problems. So I'm deeply concerned that he is incapable of doing the job.
There you go. He's concerned that Donald Trump is incapable of doing the job of presidency. By the way, this is a man who never once expressed any concern about Joe Biden and his capability of running the presidency. But we were wrong. We said he didn't have a response. There you go. Now you've got Tim Walz's thorough, detailed explanation of the Somali terror billion-dollar fraud scandal that happened on his watch in his state of Minnesota. His response is about Trump's MRI. So did he just say that this is the first president who has never put out his thorough medical records? Could we bring up Joe Biden's medical records that were released when he was president? Do we have that? We don't have that? How do we? Oh. Enough said. Okay. Well, under increasing pressure to come clean on the obvious scandal brewing in the Trump White House about the obvious decline in his health and his ability to serve as the commander-in-chief and the head of the executive branch of our federal government. Yesterday, Karoline Leavitt, with sweat pouring down her face, under pressure, knuckled under, and released the results of President Trump's MRI. And it's not good, folks. It's not good at all. Go ahead and keep me up here because I'm going to have to pause and explain the really, really technical medical terms that are divulged here about President Trump's health. It's ugly. Here, watch.
Follow up on the MRI because President Trump yesterday said that he would release the results of his MRI. Is that happening right now?
It is happening right now.
All right, here we go. This is it. So now this is where Karoline Leavitt has have to concede the fact that President Trump's MRI showed that there's a major problem with his circulatory system. That's what all of the speculation has been. You know, they've shown pictures of some bruising on his hand because he plays golf on a regular basis. Clearly, and his swollen ankles. Let's not forget the swollen ankles that they keep showing. He's obviously got major problems with his heart and his circulation. Okay, Karoline, let's go.
As part of, and this is a summary from the president's physician, and we will release it right now. I think my team has it teed up for all of you. I'll read it for you, and then you'll get it physically as well. As part of President Trump's comprehensive executive physical, advanced imaging was performed because men in his age group benefit from a thorough evaluation of cardiovascular and abdominal health. The purpose of this imaging is preventative, to identify any issues early, confirm overall health, and ensure the president maintains long-term vitality and function.
All right, enough. Get to the point where you tell us about how bad his cardiovascular health is. He's 79 after all. We've seen the swollen ankles. Come on, Karoline, come clean.
President Trump's cardiovascular imaging was perfectly normal.
Damn it. All right, fine. But what about the arteries? There's got to be blockage in the arteries.
No evidence of arterial narrowing impairing blood flow or abnormalities in the heart or major vessels.
Oh, crap. All right. Fine. His arteries seem fine. Overall cardiovascular. What about the chambers of his heart? Come on, you can't lie about that.
The heart chambers are normal in size, the vessel walls appear smooth and healthy, and there are no signs of inflammation or clotting.
All right. I still smell a cover up here because Tim Walz told me that there's something really nefarious going on, and I've been watching Blue Sky, and I know that you're hiding the truth about Trump's deteriorating health. So let's get to the big stuff. Tell me about Trump's colon. I want to know everything about what's going on in Donald Trump's colon.
Overall, his cardiovascular system shows excellent health. His abdominal imaging is also perfectly normal. All major organs appear very healthy and well perfused. Everything evaluated is functioning within normal limits with no acute or chronic concerns.
Well, I hope you all realize the depths of this cover-up. We're just starting to scratch the surface now. See, here's the thing. If Trump had major issues with his abdominal health or with his cardiovascular health or with his arteries or with his heart, do you think they'd tell you the truth about it? This is exactly what they would say. This is exactly the kind of thing they would say to cover up the truth. But they would never put it in writing. See, that's where the cover-up really happens. That's where they get into trouble. The last thing they would do was put out a written report on the presidential physician's letterhead saying, mother. All right, you know what? These guys are just too good at the cover-up. That's the truth. They're too good at it. They probably have the Jews helping them. You know that Israel's involved in this. Let's go back to Karoline Leavitt here. And we'll let her sort of sum this up because I know she's going to have some sort of namby-pamby, weaselly way to just back out of the room and not answer everybody's questions. Go ahead, Karoline.
And I will point out one fake news story over the weekend before I let you all go from the New York Times that took about 1/3 of the president's daily calendar and his daily schedule and said that he's doing less than he did in his first term or he might not be fit for the job. That is unequivocally false. And it's deeply unfortunate that this story was written by the same outlet and the same reporter who wrote this. Biden is doing 100% fine after tripping while boarding Air Force One. Oh, same outlet, same reporter who wrote that President Trump is not fit for the job. Are you kidding me? You all see him almost every single day. He is the most accessible president in history. He is taking meetings around the clock. Another one. Biden declared, quote, healthy and vigorous after his first presidential physical. I don't see headlines like that too often about this president. Again, same reporter, same outlet who wrote falsely over the weekend that President Trump is not fit for the job. I can assure you he absolutely is. You all see that with your own eyes on a daily basis, and the president's physician has now given you all 3 detailed reports on the state of the president's health. So with that, I will leave you all and we'll see you tomorrow.
Wow. All right. So listen, guys, I mean, it's obvious that she is scared shitless here. It is obvious that she is running and hiding from the media. Can you believe that the end of the presser like that? She's so obviously terrified. There's no confidence there. The reason why I'm so sure that the president is in failing health is because I saw this post from an expert on the case, Meghan Hayes. Meghan Hayes posted that it's an undeniable fact. Undeniable, Karoline Leavitt. It's an undeniable fact that Donald Trump is aging rapidly. By the way, I keep hearing this. I keep hearing this from cable news talking heads and teleprompter readers and experts on all of these shows when pressed about the Trump health. Because if you go over to Blue Sky, if you watch MS Now, they're obsessed with this. They're sure that Trump has ailing health. I don't know if they're overcompensating for what they did for the last 4 years, but they are obsessed with it. And one of the things that they keep saying is this. Listen, it's undeniable that Trump is aging. Which, think about that for a second. I mean, it's obvious. Everyone can see it. Trump is aging. Think about that for a minute. You see where I'm going with this, right? Let me also say, by the way, that it's undeniable that I am aging. By the way, it's undeniable that you are aging. It is undeniable, you cannot deny it, Selena Gomez is aging before our very eyes. So is Justin Bieber, by the way. You cannot deny it. Everybody's aging. It's an undeniable fact Donald Trump is aging. Yes, thank you. That's sort of true of every living organism on the planet. It should concern us all, says Meghan Hayes. And then she linked this video. So here's the video. It's from MS Now, so it's got to be true. Here's what they're all obsessed with.
That this is a real concern that he falls asleep during press conferences, and it's who is making these decisions. It seemed the last person in his ear makes the final decisions, or testing that they're doing in focus groups of what targets the most hate is what he seems to say out loud, regardless if it has anything to do with the actual policy at hand. So, I think that the American people are starting to see more of this. And I think that this will come to fruition in the midterms because Trump's not on the ticket anymore. And Republicans who are not standing up to him and not pushing back on all of these disgusting attacks and disastrous actions, they're going to lose their reelection and they will lose control of Congress.
There you go. And so that's why I'm obviously so worked up and I'm trying to read between the lines and uncover this obvious White House cover-up. This is worse than Watergate. Because Meghan Hayes, the expert, has told me that it's an undeniable fact that Donald Trump is aging and he is unfit for office. By the way, you may be wondering, Larry, what the hell is wrong with you? Why are you putting so much weight into this thing that Meghan Hayes is saying? Who the hell is Meghan Hayes? That's a fair question. Let me educate you. Let me inform you who Meghan Hayes is. Meghan Hayes is an American communications executive who was a special assistant to the president and director of message planning in the White House from 2021 to 2022. That would be in the Biden White House. 2021, 2022, Meghan Hayes worked on the comms team for Joe Biden. And you may say, well, so what? How does that give her any expertise on the diminished health and ability of a president to perform the duties so prescribed in the Constitution of the United States? And I will answer your question because Meghan Hayes is, in fact, an expert. You know who Meghan Hayes is without even knowing who she is, because she was responsible for one of the most important moments of the Biden presidency. Here is Meghan Hayes in her glory. That's right. When Meghan Hayes worked for Joe Biden in the comms team, it fell on her shoulders to get dressed up like Mrs. Easter Bunny and run interference between a meandering, confused, clearly impaired President Joe Biden as he started to wander toward the media. The American people faced a very, very dire circumstance that day. Joe Biden almost answered question from reporters until, thank God, Meghan Hayes jumped in front of him, distracted him, and sent him to a different part of the White House South Lawn. There she is, Meghan Hayes, dressed as the Easter Bunny, Mrs. Easter Bunny, technically, sending Biden off to do something other than answer a question from a reporter. Although many people witnessing this video, as I have frame by frame, like it's the Zapruder film, have suggested that Joe Biden that day actually thought that he saw a giant rabbit standing in front of him. So yes, Meghan Hayes is in fact an expert on covering up a president's health and their declining ability to carry out the constitutional job of President of the United States. That's why I am sure that there is a very real cover-up here, because Meghan Hayes has said that it's an undeniable fact that Donald Trump is somehow diminished. And until we get the real truth, I want you to tune in here every single day, because we will uncover it. And I am telling you right now, either Benjamin Netanyahu or Mr. Macron, not the president, but the first lady, Macron, is behind it all. Is she not a man? I thought she was a man. I saw somewhere that we'll either way, you've come to the right place. We will get to the bottom of it, I assure you.